lightning and the thunder.
But after all these years, I'm still scared of thunder.
It's time for Middays with Thunder with Mitch Nellis, broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
So Charlie, I have no idea how to do this. Yeah, come on over. This is Middays with Thunder, 1250 M, 105.7 FM, The Fan. We're on the Odyssey app. What do I, do I do that? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. There you go. I don't hear it. Oh, there we go. We're going to replay that again and make sure everybody can hear it.
Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Gazette on Middays with Thunder on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Learning new things on the board with Mitch Thunder Nellis, proving once again you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can hold his hand while you do it for him. Thank you to Charlie Usen. Joining us now on The Fan, USA Today Packers beat reporter Ryan Wood. Ryan, how are you, sir?
I am great, and I'm just thankful that I am not in charge of the technology because I am the least technological person that I've ever met. So it's good that it's out of my hands.
Well, we appreciate that. I've run audio boards for about 25 years. I've never run the software that we run here. I've never been trained on the software that we run here. And so we're just like, sometimes when things pop up that I don't understand or know, we just have to wing it. Or one of the guys who like wasn't even alive when I started in radio comes over and helps me, and I appreciate that. So thank you to Charlie.
No problem.
That's how teammates support each other, right, Ryan?
That's right. That's called complimentary radio. And how's this for a segue? A lot of complimentary football here in Green Bay these first 2 weeks.
Yes, let's go. Absolutely. Before we get to the Packers, anything you learned around the NFL with the Packers having a Thursday night game, having an opportunity maybe to watch more on Sundays, or I don't know if you Red Zone channel, or I don't know if you just take the day off and don't even pay attention to football, but then with a couple Monday night games last night, anything you learned around the NFL with the Packers playing Thursday night?
Well, you're right. It was nice just to be able to kick it on Sunday and just enjoy football and not have to work. And I love my job. I love the work.
Of course.
Once in a while, it's nice just to have some beer and watch some football. You know what I mean? Look, I
do.
I learned that the Lions don't suck, right? If you left the opener against the Packers thinking, well, maybe the two new coordinators, the Lions aren't that good. Nope, that's not it. The Packers are just that good. And conversely,
the Bears might suck.
Exactly. The Bears still suck. And J.J. McCarthy, I don't know if I see it yet. It's early, so I'm not going to write him off yet. It's 2 starts. Jordan Love had his moments in 2023, okay? It wasn't until the second half of 2023 that Jordan Love looked like Jordan Love.
But all right, Ryan, real quick. Ryan, you are a writer who, and you shared this with us last week. You really like the story. You enjoy the storylines, correct?
That's right.
I got a storyline for you.
Okay.
I picked this one up. It's a month into the future. The Vikings have the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns the next 3 weeks. What if Carson Wentz goes 3-0, and then what if he beats the Eagles? And then J.J. McCarthy's ready to come back and healthy, but Carson Wentz goes 4-0. against
I've
the,
thought
like,
about that because here's the thing:
I want the drama.
no one expects Carson Wentz to do that. But tell me, you expected Sam Darnold to be a Pro Bowler last year?
No, right?
Right?
Exactly. Thank you.
What I don't understand about that Vikings offense is that you have Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. I know Aaron Jones got injured, but even with Aaron Jones on the field, you're surrounded by playmakers. You got Kevin O'Connell. Like that is a paradise situation for a young quarterback, and you can't move the ball. Like you can't look competent in that situation. That's why I think it's very damning. It's not like he's in football Siberia. There's a lot of pieces there in Minnesota for a young quarterback, and it just does not look good. So maybe Carson Wentz is able to do what Sam Darnold did last year. That would get very interesting. I mean, the Vikings made it very clear they are tied to their investment there. They want their investment, as they should, a top half of the first round quarterback. They want him to succeed. That would get interesting, but it's got to be better than what it's been.
I just wonder if that turns into an investment that they table for a year and end up having to look at next year because of Wentz playing well. But then what if Wentz goes on a losing streak? They put McCarthy back in, and then I'm just here. I'm Michael Jackson eating the popcorn. I just want to see drama in Minnesota. I want to see chaos in Minnesota. I'm here for it. I just want to laugh a little bit, and I feel like the Vikings are laughable, at this point, if their quarterback situation goes sideways, and if Seattle keeps winning too. By the way,
yeah, the Seahawks obviously going 1-1, and Aaron Rodgers not looking like he had the same zest against the Seahawks as he had against his former team, the Jets. Now, as far as the NFC North goes, it's split down the middle. There's the haves, there's the have-nots. I mean, the Lions are going to be around. They're going to be, that Thanksgiving game in Detroit still looms. They're not going anywhere, no matter how good the Packers looked against them week one. And then the Vikings and the Bears, the biggest thing with Chicago, they were supposed to fix that offensive line, right? Like they were actually, being adults and doing their chores and actually caring about the offensive line and not just
they signed 27 offensive linemen in the offseason, I think. Yeah.
I can't tell. I can't tell at all.
Nobody can. It's absurd.
No. I mean, I can't watch those two teams, the Vikings and the Bears, without. All right, my favorite movie all time, Field of Dreams. You remember when Moonlight Graham he gets that chance and he winks at the pitcher and he gets a buzzsaw to his head and he asks the ump, "Hey, ump, how about a heads up?" And the ump says, "Okay, how about you watch out and not get yourself killed?" Like I feel that way about this Packers defensive front and pass rush going against the Vikings and the Bears. Quarterback, how about you watch out and not get yourself killed? Because those offensive lines, how are they going to block the Packers? I don't see it.
I agree. Ryan Wood joining us here on Middays with Thunder. Speaking of offensive lines, I can do segues too. How's Zach Tom? Some Zach Tom news, or Matt LaFleur talking about Zach Tom, at least during his press conference yesterday.
Yeah, we don't know because Wednesdays when they get back on the field, that has been the padded practice. They didn't practice at all last week on the short week, obviously. Matt LaFleur did say that Zach Tom feels better. He's dealing with the oblique injury, which, I mean, above all things, you can just be thankful he's not a pitcher. Because in baseball, you get a pitcher with an oblique.
Yep.
That's a bad news bears, right? It's a lot different for a right tackle, but we'll have to see how he gets through the week. That's what Matt LaFleur said. He's going to get the week and Wednesday, Thursday, practice Friday, and see if he can go. Because when you look at this matchup, there's only one area of concern with the Cleveland Browns. Right?
He's it, right?
That's it. It's Myles Garrett. And so you'd like to have Zach Tom on the field to help your quarterback.
Absolutely. How important with Tom and, if Banks can be healthy, if not with Kennard or Belton or Morgan, how confident are you in the Packers being able to slow down Myles Garrett, who is tied for the league lead in sacks, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, Matt LaFleur has asked this, what do you do if it's Darian Kennard or Anthony Belton? And he said, we got options, and that's code for a lot of chips and double teams.
Yep, some tight end work. Yep. That's
constant. You're going to see a lot of chips and double teams if Zach Tom's not able to go and Myles Garrett lines up on that left side of the defense. So there's ways to do that, and I do think that it helps that the rest of the Browns defense doesn't exactly scare you, so you can devote extra attention to Myles Garrett and not be all that worried about other guys winning their one-on-ones, but that's what you'd see.
I saw you guys also had some time with Christian Watson yesterday. Is that right?
That's right. The recently
Is he recently extended, but also like ready to go today? Christian Watson, not able to go today, of course, because of the rules, but like he'd beat me in a race today. That's for sure.
It's so interesting with him because there's this internal tug of war where it's been over 9 months now since surgery. He feels good. He's able to not just run, but cut. He can plant. He feels ready, but he also knows that this is a team that has some very significant aspirations this season, that Christian Watson needs to be fully, consistently able to go to be the best version of this offense that they want to be, which is Christian Watson deep. And he's wanting to go, but he's also wanting to be smart. I asked Christian Watson, he mentioned, just learning from his past and not getting onto the field before he's ready. I asked, could that maybe be a lesson you learned late last season? Because in December, Christian Watson bruises his knee against the Saints. He misses one game. The Packers offense looks putrid without Christian Watson against the Vikings. They had no semblance of a deep passing game. And then he comes back a week later, 2 weeks after that bruised knee, and on his 10th snap against the Bears, he crumples to the ground. He has a torn ACL. I asked, is that a lesson? He's like, yeah. He had passed every medical clearance check that you could, that he needed to get on the field, but he still wasn't able to run and do his job in a way that he wasn't compensating for that bruised knee. And then when you're compensating
mental or physical, or
think about when you're just, let's say you even like a stub toe or something minor, because we're not athletes. We go through minor things.
Yes.
You're fresh off a stub toe and it's like feeling better, but not quite right. You might still be favoring the other foot.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense. Yeah,
you're not there yet. And so on a much higher scale, Christian Watson is favoring the other leg, and there's an ACL. So he wants to be back. He expects in 2 weeks, when that practice window on IR opens, that he will practice, but there's a ramp-up period. He's got to get in football shape. It's different just running compared to actually playing down in, down out. And he wants to be very deliberate, make sure that he's not on the field full-time until he can actually be on the field full-time without any setbacks, ready to go.
Ryan Wood joining us here. He writes for USA Today, Green Bay Packers, a beat reporter, joining us on The Fan. Any other highlights from Matt LaFleur or from any of the players yesterday during availability?
I think this week it's so different than the first 2 weeks. First question I asked Matt LaFleur game week going into week one about the Lions was, is this easier? Every week's 1-0, and you want to win every game. Every game matters in the NFL, but this is the Detroit Lions. What this situation is. Is it easier to kind of get your team up for a game like this? And it's like, yeah, it kind of speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. The last two, when you're playing the two-time reigning NFC North champion, when you're playing the NFC runner-up from last season, you don't have to say anything to get the troops motivated. They know what the situation is. When you're playing the Cleveland Browns, that's entirely different. I asked Xavier McKinney yesterday, okay, you're not playing one of these two teams. You're playing a team that you're not going to disrespect the Cleveland Browns, but you know that they're not the same. Right. How do you get up for that? And he said you have to come with the same enthusiasm. You got to come with the same mindset, and that's part of being a professional. That's what this week is.
That's great to say, but how do you do that? Like, did he have any answers on tricks to just like to not let it be lip service, but to actually make sure the team is ready?
Yeah, it's interesting because as Xavier McKinney's telling me this, he's trying to get himself into this mode of the Cleveland Browns are an up and coming team, and there's some talent there, and I'm like, well, they just lost by 500 points to the Baltimore Ravens last week, so
True.
But, maybe turn on that week one film. They only lost by 1 to Joe Burrow, and the reality is that in this league, this should be a blowout this week, but in this league, any team can win on any given Sunday. There's professionals on both sides, and you have to be cognizant of that so that you don't overlook an opponent. But that's what you want to talk about trap games early in the season. That's what this is. And the Packers are wildly more talented than the Browns. They have to go out there and show it.
Absolutely. Ryan Wood joining us here on The Fan, as he does every Tuesday at noon. Also, you can hear him with Sparky. You can hear him with Mason throughout the week. Your Mets didn't. I thought your Mets were going to help us with the Phillies a little bit. The Mets, your Mets didn't really do that for us.
What is baseball? Is it still baseball season? Can I just like cry uncle here and be let out of baseball season? It's just.
I mean, you can, but the Mets, the playoffs start today. The Mets are still in the playoffs.
That won't last.
Barely.
I've been through this 2007, 2008. This is a September collapse. I know what it is when I see it.
We're still focused on keeping that 1.5 game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies for the overall best record. 12 to go. It is really the home stretch right now. That's for sure.
Would have loved to see the Mets help there. I was fronting that line.
I know. I thought they're in New York. I thought maybe you could steal one. Like what? Just didn't. You know what? It happens sometimes. Anything else you want to leave us with? As the Packers go to Cleveland, and some people said, "Oh, well, could this be a trap game because of what it means for Micah to go back to Dallas?" And obviously, we'll talk about that next week. But I think for the team, like that's not really a team thing. That are like, if they were playing Philly next week, yes, that would be like a look ahead to Philly. I don't know that they're really looking ahead to Dallas. But any other tidbits about the Cleveland Browns or this matchup that are on your mind?
No, I wish I had something for you here, but it's the Cleveland Browns.
That's the right answer. But by the way, Ryan, that is the right answer.
I'm not going to lie to you. This is a business trip. It's their first road trip of the season, but this is a business trip. This is a game that the Packers should absolutely win by multiple touchdowns. If they don't, there's a concern there. I mean, I don't think it's like the end of the world, but it's a concern there. This is an opportunity for this team to go out there and be professionals and take care of business.
Did you know that Jaden Daniels got hurt Thursday night?
I did. That surprised me.
That was kind of weird yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I didn't. So he's hurt. JJ McCarthy's hurt. Quarterbacks, Joe Burrow. I mean, and that's what's. Think about this. When's this team feasibly going to lose for the first time? I mean, look at their schedule.
People are already saying 8-0, Ryan. People are already saying it. And I don't love saying it. I'll repeat it because other people have said it. But people are already saying 8-0 is a possibility.
Like, let's get the caveats out of the way. There's always a surprise loss for every team every season. Okay. Sure. So at some point that's going to happen. That's the reality of this league. Any team can win on any given Sunday because they're both professionals on both sides. But if you look at the schedule, the Browns, the Cowboys who have looked completely unimpressive, the Jake Brownings, when is this team going to the schedule is
the Cardinals could be. I mean, the Cardinals are a decent football team. They're not a great football team, but traveling and that could be.
You'll forgive me if I'm not too concerned about that matchup.
I mean, the Packers should be favored in that one.
Nice.
But that that's one. And then the next week at Pittsburgh, I think a night game. If that could be a wind game, that could be a wind game. That could be a weird weather game, which honestly could affect Aaron more than it affects Green Bay because he's old and old guys don't like weather. We've learned that from our last two quarterbacks in Green Bay. But that's another. Who knows what the Steelers are doing then? But then the Panthers, and then you get to that Eagles game, and it's like. I don't know if we've done it in Sharpie or just in pencil or in highlighter. I mean, we've all circled November 10th, right? Like that we already can't wait for that game.
Well, it feels like
Monday night, Lambeau, gold package. So everybody from Milwaukee will actually show people in Green Bay how to cheer, right?
It feels like this conference is on a collision course for a rematch of last year's wild card game in Philly, only in the NFC Championship game, destination TBD. Yep. So you want that game in Green Bay, obviously. The fact that you have a home game against the Eagles that could maybe potentially see how it shakes out, but might have something to do with that. Yeah, that's certainly a game that looms large.
All right, and real quick, I'll give you the other question that we've been throwing around here. If I gave you to win the Super Bowl, if I gave you the Packers, Eagles, Bills, and Ravens, and I got the 28 other teams, are you taking those 4 or are you taking the 28?
That's a harder question than people might think, because I know the Chiefs are 0-2, and I know they have not looked good. But until Patrick Mahomes has been completely out of it, I'm not ruling Patrick Mahomes out of it. I have very
He-
few rules, but that's one.
yeah, that's
I
a
will
good one.
not
He
say
is
that he's
not dead and
done
buried
until
yet, right? He is not dead
so.
and buried yet, right?
Yeah, I think right now everyone would, the natural thing to do is, okay, you take those four, because it sure
Yeah.
looks like those four are the cream of the crop. But I'm not ready to say the Chiefs are done. I'm just not.
Yeah. I think I know the Packers handled them, but I think the Lions might have a word with that as well. And remember, when I ask you that question on September 16th, I can ask you that question again on November 16th, and it's a very different question because no team looks the same 2 months from now based on injuries, based on
Yep.
surprises, whatever might happen.
Injuries. That's the one, because this Packers team doesn't really have holes. I mean, you want to talk about the holes that you've seen from the first 2 weeks. Okay, they gave up garbage time touchdowns in both
Right.
games. They have too many special teams penalties. Do you know I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that's good. But do you know how many teams in this league would love for their biggest issue to be special teams penalties? Like, you know what kind of a pampered life you're living when that's the biggest gripe that you have about your football team?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to live in. That's a good neighborhood to live in. That's for sure. Ryan Wood, beat reporter for our Green Bay Packers with the USA Today and all the different papers they own around Wisconsin and around the world. You'll find if there's an article about the Green Bay Packers, it says by Ryan Wood, and that's his Twitter as well. By Ryan Wood, follow him there as well. Ryan, thank you so much for jumping on today. It was a blast.
All right, take care.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
He is Ryan Wood. And it's always fun to have him on, catch up with everything going on with the Packers. Today's Wednesday. So it's a closed practice for most of it. But it does mean after practice, I believe we get our first injury report of the week. I don't think that's out. I think that comes out after practice. So whether that comes out by 2 and we have it here on Middays with Thunder, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer will definitely have it for you on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's from 2 to 5. And remember, today, that is going to be at the Broad House in Shorewood. It's right there on Oakland Ave, just north of Capitol. You can get off 43 at Capitol. Just take it up to Oakland, or you can there's a bunch of different ways you can get out there, kind of to the Upper East Side, I would say it is, of Milwaukee, Oakland Ave in Shorewood. He'll be there from 2 to 5. Tommy will be there from 5 to 6:30. Brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Delicious. I'm going to have one of those tonight. I'm going to have one. I think
they're pretty good.
I think peach. They have different flavors, right?
They do. I've had the raspberry one. I really like the raspberry.
I'm pretty sure they have peach, and I think I didn't get it last time, and I was like, I got to get the peach. So make sure to join Sparky. Actually, now that I think of it, Mrs. Thunder has class tonight, like from 5 to 6:30. So I might just grab the girls and come over and have a little chicken tenders for the girls and a Caesar salad for Thunder.
There you go. Family bike ride over if it's a nice night.
That's not a bad idea, Charlie. Now you're thinking. All right, so everybody go see Sparky there at 2. When we come back, we will keep this discussion going. We'll talk some more Green Bay Packers. Christian Watson, if he comes back, how does he change the offense? And do the Packers need Zach Tom to suit up on Sunday? Those questions and more coming at you next here. Middays with Thunder and the Gentle Giant, Charlie, on the Fan. oh, 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 oh. The party's where you're at. Where the party at? Jagged Edge and Nelly bringing you back here on Middays with Thunder. Happy midday. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Charlie Usen is in the house. Charlie, you know this one?
I do not know this one.
No?
This is not one in my catalog. No.
You know Nelly, though, right?
I do know Nelly.
Yeah.
I don't know Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge?
No, I've
Trying
never
to think if there's anything else by I think they had a couple songs. There might be. I'm surprised you haven't heard this like as a bump, not in our station, but like just.
I
like,
might have. I don't pay too close attention to bumps
Yeah.
unless I know the song already. But
yeah. Our thanks again to Ryan Wood for jumping on the show. Of course, he was on the fan guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Make sure to jump out with Sparky and Tommy today from 2 to 6:30. They will be at the Broad House in Shorewood, the Broad House in Shorewood, right there on Oakland off of Capitol. It's going to be a blast. Brewers back in action tonight. Caden Dana, I think. Dana, I think. Yep. He's 0-1 with a 6.32 ERA, pitching for the Angels, taking on Freddie Peralta. I haven't looked at what the number is. I will look at what the number is at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, but it's got to be like just an astronomical favorite for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I would assume so. The Angels are a little bit of a dumpster fire. Mike Trout's having his worst season as a professional.
I'm guessing like minus 240.
Yeah, it's
if not even bigger. But Ryan Wood was on and want to touch on a couple things that he shared with us, both about what Matt LaFleur talked about and some of the players. Christian Watson said that if it was the NFC Championship game today, he could play. He said he could play if they needed him to play. Of course, he's out. He's on the PUP for the first 4 weeks. Then there's a bye. So the beginning of week 6 leading into the Bengals game is when he can start practicing. When he practices, the way it works is then there's a 21-day clock for them to either put him on season-ending injury reserve or to activate him. I will go out on a ledge and say that he will not play in the Bengals game. He will practice that week. And then I would guess there's a good chance he is activated the following week. And that would be, Bengals. That would be at the Cardinals. I guess they could keep him, and play him at the Steelers instead. But I just worry that if he's on the field with Aaron Rodgers, that he might drop a 75-yard touchdown. So I don't want to see that.
That may be a potentiality. A little bit of flashbacks, PTSD there. The Brewers are minus 265.
265. Yeah. All right. So I knew it was at least minus 240. It is a huge favorite. Brewers just got to win tonight. Like just go out, just play your game, and we'll get into baseball in the 1 o'clock hour for sure. How does Christian Watson change the offense? 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. You can also throw in your comments on YouTube, which our friend Q has already thrown a comment in the dugout there on YouTube. He says 19-0, which means if you go 19-0, that means you make the Super Bowl, right? Because there's now 17 games. So if you're 19-0, Q, you are predicting the Packers to go 17-0 in the regular season, to win their 2 playoff games, and then make the Super Bowl. Q, I'd like to know what happens in that Super Bowl. I don't know if you have a prediction or not. I am on record. Many people know this. I'm on record that the Packers will make a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, including this year. This year, next, or the next. They will make at least one Super Bowl. I have no idea if they will win that Super Bowl. I'm not willing to share that information. I'm not willing to make that prediction, because when you get to a one-game situation, you have no idea and no control over what happens. One weird bounce, one weird weather, one weird anything, and a game goes sideways. And so I have no idea if they will win the Super Bowl. Certainly, I will be cheering for them to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully, I will be at that Super Bowl. That would be amazing if the Packers won a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. I don't know that they will make it, but I am predicting, I do believe that they will make a Super Bowl. I don't know if they will win it, but I'm predicting they will make it.
I don't think that's bold of a prediction.
No, I don't.
I think that's very realistic with the teams that they got right now.
I mean, honestly, that's within my expectations. I mean, I expect that to happen.
Well, and the league in general is the most wide open right now out of any of the professionals, or not wide open, but the most separated out of any of the professional sports leagues at this given time. Yep. You have about, like we were saying, 4 to 5 teams that you maybe have in that upper echelon, yep. And then it's everybody else just lumped together. Yep. And I think you could say that about the quarterback play in the league too right now. It just feels very.
What happened to good quarterbacks? There's like a couple great quarterbacks. There's a couple good quarterbacks, and then there's a bunch of like guys who are just guys who like nobody wants to give up their quarterback, but nobody's quarterback's better than anybody else's quarterback.
I mean, all the guys that are the great quarterbacks in the league right now, going back to that discussion we finished off with in the first hour there, it's Patrick Mahomes, who I think had a lot of questions coming into the NFL. It's Josh Allen, who I think had a lot of questions coming into the NFL, and both of them had kind of hidden ceilings. It's Lamar Jackson, who was a lot of questions coming into the NFL and had a really large ceiling that I don't think people could really look at. I think there's just an archetype of player that we're looking at that is starting to succeed in the NFL. Pretty soon here, I think you're going to get a lot more players to be in that upper echelon, and Jordan Love kind of fits that mold. He's a player that had a lot of questions coming out of that draft and has a really high ceiling based on the tools we're seeing.
T and Pewaukee writes in 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan talking text line, looking at the power rankings. How can Baltimore with no defense and a loss be ahead of Green Bay? I think it's because they lost to Buffalo, who many view as number one. There are many people who have Buffalo as the number one team in the NFL right now, and that Baltimore is number 2 or number 3, and number 2 or number 3 is going to lose to number 1, but that doesn't mean they fall. That doesn't mean they drop that spot. I think both teams' defenses left a lot to be desired in that opening game. When you play a 41-40 game, there's not a lot of defense there. And so the question is, like, if those teams were to face off against the Packers and expect to score that many points, they might be in for a rude awakening. And because the Packers score that many points against their defenses, because their defenses aren't very good. But with the Packers and potentially the best defense in all of football, can the Packers shut them down? And I think that when you have teams like that with strong offenses and questionable defenses, that's going to be a good matchup for the Packers. I think that the low-scoring, close games is what's going to be the challenge for the Packers this year, not the teams that get into shootouts, because the Packers defense should be able to leverage that.
And what we can't, I think, overlook here is with the Ravens defense in that game just against Cleveland. I know they had these players against Buffalo. Buffalo's just a really good offense, but Marlon Humphrey already left a game with an injury here. Kyle Van Noy is going to miss multiple weeks. Those are two very important players for that Ravens defense. And the Packers could fall into the same kind of category at some point this season where you do lose important players on that defense, and you have to figure out how to adjust then. I believe in Jeff Hafley to kind of lead this defense no matter who's out on that field. So I do have faith in the defensive coordinator more. But also, you can't overlook teams like the Ravens because of the fact that they're missing players on that defensive side of the ball. Because when they are healthy, they are an elite defense.
Yeah, I think they should be. I think they'll show that. And again, every power ranking is different, and many publications are going to have their power ranking based on where they think teams are going to fall. You know, that they think that Baltimore and Buffalo are the two best teams in the AFC, so they're going to be ranked in the top 3. Philly won the Super Bowl and they're 2-0, so they're going to be there. And then the Packers are 4, and that's what we saw. We saw the Packers with 1-4, 4 3s, and 2 1s. And the other teams, as we talked about with Ryan Wood, as we talked about earlier on this show, that those teams are Baltimore, Buffalo, and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's who's there. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. How does Christian Watson change the offense? And I'll take the obvious answer. The obvious answer, he opens it up for everybody, is that Christian Watson with elite speed, and we don't know what it's going to look like with Christian Watson's elite speed next to Matthew Golden's elite speed. You line Christian Watson up, he lines up on the outside, and Matthew Golden's in the slot. And on any given play, one of them or both of them can burn every defender on that field and go deep. And so do you roll safeties over to that side, leaving, Jaden Reed when he gets healthy, but Dobbs and Wicks specifically, and Tucker Kraft one-on-one on the other side or over the middle, because we already saw what Tucker Kraft does when you leave a soft spot over the middle. Tucker, when Christian Watson comes back, Tucker Kraft is going to eat even more. And Tucker Kraft is eating. Tucker Kraft is ready to eat. He's ready to eat week in and week out. Defenses don't know what to do with him. They don't know how to defend him. They don't know how to get him down on the first contact. He loves getting yards after that first contact. And when Christian Watson is there to open up things for him, he's going to eat even more.
I think adding Christian Watson to this team, although he may not be a wide receiver one consistently, I think he draws the attention of the CB1 on the opposing defense more often than any other wide receiver on this offense right now.
Good point.
Mostly because I think he does at points have the speed of a Matthew Golden. He does at points have the size and kind of bully ball ability of a Dontavian Wicks. He does at points have the route running ability of a Romeo Dobbs. So he can do a lot of different things. And I would say he's more of a jack of all trades, master of none, that he can do all these things, but not all at the same time. I still think that draws the attention of a defensive coordinator saying, you know what? I want the most adaptable guy to be covering a player like that, because no matter really what he is, he can be dangerous in any facet of the game as a wide receiver. You would want probably your best player, who is also your most adaptable, to be on top of that guy most of the time.
This is 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. Would love to hear your thoughts on the Packers. Talking a little bit about Christian Watson, also talking about Zach Tom. Matt LaFleur talked about that. Zach Tom is feeling better. He has an oblique, which always makes me think of Ben Sheets. For those of you who remember Brewers pitcher Ben Sheets.
I do remember Ben Sheets.
I feel like now I feel like he was more the latissimus dorsi. But that's all kind of like in those oblique, like, you know, that torque you have in your lower back and in your side, that it's all like that muscle that when you're a pitcher needs to be strong, needs to be healthy. And it's like, if that's a mess, that's a mess.
Well, I also understand, though, with the offensive tackles and offensive linemen kind of in general, most of your strength and most of your power comes from your legs and being able to get a strong base and be able to hold your base. And when I was playing, I dealt with a lot of injuries in my right shoulder during a course of one season. I played through it, and I could play through it because you aren't, at least that often, unless you're doing things wrong, twisting your body in that fashion. You're not reaching out in that fashion. So if you're able to protect it by using a strong base, by having both hands on the interior and kind of controlling from that way, you can avoid twisting in that motion that you're talking about there. Now, at the same time, you will never play a game 100% perfect. There will be moments where he is reaching out and grabbing a defensive lineman, and it is going to torque his arm back, and it's going to hurt like hell. But at the same time, this is a decision that I think if he does want to play, that's something you kind of have to deal with. And I think it's something that he can play with and probably will deal with if he does feel like he's comfortable enough to get back on the field.
And you bring up a good point there, Charlie, because, you know, Zach Tom's dealing with the oblique, but Aaron Banks is dealing with an ankle and a groin,
which is much harder to deal with as an offensive lineman.
Yeah. When you're counting on the strength of your legs and your ankles and your lower half, you know, the groin, again, groin's lower half, but it's kind of upper half. Like it's, you know, it's not your real base, you know, if you're not doing all that twisting. But ankle is certainly like, you need your ankle for stability, for stabilization. And if you don't have that and you can't move, you know, side to side, kind of think of like the drills we all did when we were kids at basketball camp, like that, just that side to side. If you can't do that, if you have a banged up ankle, that's going to get in your way a lot more than think about that side to side drill. Your oblique, you're not using your oblique. You know?
No, not really.
So I think that, and that also I think bodes well for the Packers if Tom's able to go. That he's the one who's closer to coming back, because he's the one who will see Myles Garrett across the way sometimes. You know, depending on, you know, right tackle, left tackle. But if Garrett's over a tackle, if he's at left end or right end, you know, Zach Tom's one of those guys that'll be looking across. And you know, if Zach Tom wants to get his licks in, like Zach Tom has never met a defensive player he does not want to get in a fight with. And he would love to get some licks in on Myles Garrett this Sunday. It
would be pretty cool to see that matchup play out on Sunday. And I think with Aaron Banks versus Zach Tom, which one you want to come back healthy first, I think the other side of things is, I liked what Anthony Belton did last week, but I'd rather see what Jordan Morgan can do.
Yeah,
and if
that's
Jordan
fair.
Morgan is the one that's filling in at that left guard position, not the right tackle position, then I'd rather see Jordan Morgan out there and give Aaron Banks that little bit of rest and have Zach Tom come back, be the leader of offensive line, play against a Myles Garrett, and not throw Anthony Belton anymore into that fire.
Real interesting the way Matt LaFleur answered those questions about Zach Tom and about Aaron Banks. Zach Tom, he said, yeah, potentially we'll see where he's at. Just talking to him, I know he feels a lot better than he did. We'll just see how he progresses throughout the course of the week. Meanwhile, talking about Aaron Banks, whether or not he's ready for Sunday remains to be seen. We'll give him throughout the course of the week. So definitely sounds more positive about Zach Tom than about Aaron Banks. My name is Mitch Nellis. He's Charlie Usen. In the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking some Milwaukee Brewers. John Frisch from Locked On Angels will join the show to talk about the train wreck that the California Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, California, Anaheim, Orange County have been this year. And we'll talk about whether how much do you care about the 1 or the 2 seed at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. When we come back, we're just going to touch on Sean Foster and what a great job. Speaking of LA, what a great job he's done at UCLA this year. Oh wait, he's not even the coach there anymore. UCLA football, a mess. We'll touch on that. And of all years, why couldn't the Badgers be playing UCLA this year? Like, what a miss. Like, as if the schedule's not hard enough, they don't even get to play UCLA, and UCLA is truly down here. They'll probably come back on the schedule in a couple of years, and UCLA will probably be good again.
Badgers are a team full of grinders. They want the tough matchup, not the easy matchup, Mitch.
You're the worst. You are the worst. The Badgers. Yeah. Go back and listen to the last segment of the Mason Crosby show, where Tommy and I just lost our brains a little bit with our Wisconsin Badgers. We love them so much that we hate them right now. That's what we have to say about that. What a mess at UCLA. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. This is Middays with Thunder on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, and on YouTube. What up, YouTube? You're looking at me. Oh, 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 on a mission to be. Ooh, oh. Through the pain and the sin and the sorrow and struggle is nothing but love, nothing but love. I'm a soldier, a rider, a get a survivor, and all the above, all the above, all the above. Thank you, everyone on YouTube.
I think you should just do all the bumps for us.
I should.
I think you should just sing every single one.
I love this song. This is so good. It is so good. Oh, I really do love music. I really should have been a Kiss DJ, like in another life, in a very similar multiverse to this. It was like Allie and Thunder in the morning. Like I loved DZ, I loved Riggs, Ronnie, Wes, all the dudes who were on before you were born. When it was Wes, Ronnie, and Allie, you don't even remember that.
Nope, do not.
Dude,
no.
Dude, Wes, Ronnie, and Allie like ran Milwaukee. Like that morning show ran Milwaukee.
I can see you being in like that scenario. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe like longer hair in this alternate universe, longer beard.
Yeah, no, definitely a cleaner beard.
Oh, cleaner
definitely
beard.
The fro.
Okay. Oh yeah,
definitely the fro going. This is Middays with Thunder here on the Fan, the free Odyssey app. We are on YouTube as well. Q, I hope you're watching and just like laughing uncontrollably at me. I deserve it. I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Some news out of the Big Ten football, and it's not with our Wisconsin Badgers.
When Deshaun Foster kind of shut down the media and said, we don't want any media around, we're not having players talk and anything. It's like you need people, you need to, especially in Westwood, to give access to your program. You need to build equity. You need to allow people to know who your team is, who your program is, and who your players are so that they can be in touch with it and be connected to the community. So I didn't like that decision. But then the way the season opened, you get pounded by Utah, you play UNLV, you lose that game, you come back, you lose. And then you have the game against New Mexico. And that was pretty much it.
How do you lose to New Mexico, bro?
All of this, and we'll get to the games here in a moment, is the Nico Iamaleava situation.
Joke.
Where
Nico, you suck.
He decides to leave Tennessee.
Loser.
And, frankly, he made a mistake.
Yeah.
It was a great miscalculation by Nico.
No, it wasn't. He's an idiot.
I don't know if he had to do it over again, if he would change anything.
Brain dead.
But it certainly hasn't worked out 3 games in, and I hope it does.
Listening to the wrong people.
For him,
hope it does not work out
specifically for UCLA.
No, don't.
But you've got this high-profile quarterback. He's not playing well. The team isn't playing well. And he gave a lot of support to Deshaun Foster after the game on Friday, saying he believes in me, gives him a lot of self-belief. We're going to be fine.
You sell that,
Deshaun
Nico.
Foster took accountability. But at the end, it is so hard to turn things positive when they are so negative.
Right. They were just,
and I do give UCLA credit for
terrible.
making the switch. I was going to ask, how good does UCLA want to be, and do they want to make the investment to be good?
Just want to be
I
relevant.
think this is an indication they do want to be good.
Or at least relevant.
Making this decision 3 games
New
in,
Mexico?
To me, I was surprised. They could have easily let this go a little bit longer. Frankly, let it go the whole season. But the last thing you want to be is have dead man walking as a coach and a program going, are we even going to win a game this year?
That's Matt Schick. He's on the Sirius XM Big Ten radio station. And, of course, we have to go back to Deshaun Foster.
I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA.
Oh, really, Deshaun?
It's us and USC.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, good. Yeah.
We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Any questions?
I've never coached before. I don't know how to coach. I played running back here, and I played running back in the NFL, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I didn't prepare a speech. I knew I was going to be at a press conference. I knew I was coming to the Big Ten Media Day for the first time. But I just want to let everybody know that the University of California, Los Angeles is in Los Angeles. So in case you were wondering where we were, because we've never been in the Big Ten before, the University of California, Los Angeles is in Los Angeles. And I'm excited. And questions? What? Like, honestly, and I remember that was a big deal last year when that happened, August of 24. I mean, they could have fired him then. They could have stepped in and be like, you're not him. You're not him. Sorry.
See,
we made a mistake. You're not him.
What that answer and the way he gives that, and I guess it didn't really seem like he put up that much of a fight at UCLA ever. It seems like UCLA came to him and offered him that job, and he was just bored, and it's a lot of money, and you take that job because you know football and you think you can probably do it. But if you don't have the actual enjoyment, if you don't actually have the investment in it, and you're just doing it because they came to you to do it, which I think UCLA was looking around the country and seeing a lot of these teams that are hiring coaches or former players and former coaches and trying to get them into some kind of role on their football staff and how it's working, like in Colorado with Deion Sanders. I think they just felt they could do that and it would work out because he's a UCLA legend. But if he doesn't want to be there and if he doesn't want to do that job and he's just doing it for financial reasons, it's never going to work out.
Yeah, we've seen this locally, actually, and certainly nationally, where guys take jobs just because they have a name, and they're expected to be able to recruit or fundraise or whatever it might be because of what their name is, not because they actually know how to coach or know how to fundraise, or be a CEO or whatever it might be. I wish nothing but UCLA losses to the Badgers in the future. Hopefully that. And I don't wish ill will, but I don't wish anything good for Nico. As a Tennessee fan, he's a traitor. Like he left the school and did not do it in the right way. And that, that's just how it goes sometimes. So just wanted to play something, just a weird situation. Just all the way around, upside, downside, sideways. Just weird situation. Want to remind everybody that Sparky's going to be at the Broad House today. That's right. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, will be at the Broad House in Shorewood on Oakland Ave from 2 to 5 today. Brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. That means Tommy, the Machine Gun Wirtz, Big Dub, Mr. Kmart himself, is going to be there for the leadoff show from 5 to 6:30 as the Brewers play the Angels tonight at 6:40 at AmFam Field. We're going to talk some Brewers when we come back. Do you care about the number one seed? 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. John Frisch, Locked on Angels, will join us around 1:20. But coming up next, do you care about getting the one seed? Or does falling to the 2 seed, Philly's only 1.5 games back? We'll go over some of those scenarios as well, what the Brewers need to do, what Philly needs to do, as we get to the final 12 games of the year. 6-7. This is Middays with Thunder. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. He's Charlie Usen. We are on The Fan in Milwaukee, and our studios are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.